I'd like to talk at a vision level a bit about your vision, what many of you have been developing, a kind of vision for a GIS for the nation. In other words, scaling it up, moving beyond projects or a single department or a single agency, scaling it up to a GIS for the entire country. Our nation has a lot of problems to solve, a lot of challenges, from economic recovery to conservation of our environment to bettering human health. Actually, all of those things that I just showed you examples of stuff that you're working on. And GIS is absolutely an interesting approach for this. It's recognized at the highest levels of this government, but in governments around the world. Driving efficiency, making better understanding, improving the way we make decisions, addressing these very challenges. The question that I have is, can we actually create a platform which extends your work, the work that you're doing now, so that it supports our entire country, all of society? Not just G to G, a vision which is very important, one department to another, one mission to another, but also opening it up so that we can leverage our collective geospatial investments, what taxpayers are paying for, and make them widely available. I mean, it's been estimated that there are hundreds of millions, perhaps $1 billion, of infrastructure in the federal government that is largely mission focused. And that does a good job. It saves lives. It helps us be more productive. It helps us advance our science. But it's not leveraged very much. And the very vision of GIS is that we do integration and we make it available for lots of applications. Can we do that at a national level? That's an interesting thing and a provocative one, where we not only organize our data sets, but we extend it to support everybody else, integrating geography, data, models, services, all these things into virtually everything we do. Building new communities, supporting access from one discipline to another, and helping us. That's intriguing. This notion is already emerging, actually, around the world. Here in the US, with the good work of the FGDC in envisioning the geospatial platform. But it's already actually been implemented in China. The major agencies have implemented systems, federated them, made them replicated in a nationwide system. It's being talked about and architected in Europe, but it's already been implemented in Abu Dhabi. It's being talked about and planned for in India, in Indonesia, in Australia, in Singapore. And the question is, can we do this here in our country? There's many forces that are converging, that are promising. Some of them are, for example, computing is evolving. It's getting faster. It's getting more mobile. It's cloud. The architectures and policies promoted by this administration, for example, of let's move to the cloud, are exactly in line with what will be necessary to make this occur. We're also measuring more. We're moving to a persistent surveillance environment. Okay, we're not there yet, but we are integrating everything that moves on the planet into a geospatial framework and putting it into these networks, the internet, and allowing us to move to this idea of collective geographic information. The software is also evolving, not just your old GIS anymore. It's moved to the web, and it's more usable, more friendly. And science is co-evolving with it, building new understandings of how the world works, social networks, human terrain, measurements of all sorts, integrated, are allowing us to see the world in a different way. And at the same time, we're seeing the emergence, again, thanks in part to this country's policies, of open data policies. Not just open data, but also services. And these policies of pushing technology and making data available across different organizations, I think is leading the way. Also, you are building this knowledge. You're creating it as data, and you're not only sharing the data, but you're sharing services that can be easily connected. I'll take this soil map from here and this health information from there, and I'll put them together as services and see what kind of interesting conclusions that I could make. This is leading to more collaborative approaches in problem solving. And people talk about it often. They've been talking about it frequently for years. Place-based approaches are important, where we bring things together. This is now starting to be possible. Not only with your authoritative data sources, but also crowdsourcing data from different sources. Citizens are getting involved, contributing information. Professional workers are contributing VGI data on top of or into systems, and that's in turn being leveraged. This will be challenging for GIS professionals because it's not simply authoritative data sources that we need to manage now. We need to be able to enrich GISs with these new forms. It's kind of like if we didn't have remote sensing in GIS and now we have remote sensing, it's like that. We didn't have crowdsourced information, and now we have the possibility for structuring GISs so that crowdsourced information can come in. And that's going to create new opportunities for you in your applications. It's going to allow you to think differently, where we're taking real observations from humans as they make them and crank it in to applications that give a real-time dimension. Our perceptions of GIS are changing as a result of this. And the web infrastructure, web-based approaches are emerging in this context. This slide points out the notion of a distributed set of data and services linked together through the web that can be openly discovered and made available to anyone for app development on top of it. And as a result of this infrastructure, whole new kinds of apps are emerging. Apps where they're very easy to put together, and we'll see a lot of them today demonstrated. I can just mash up three things, put a and I've got an app. In other words, there's a kind of infrastructure underneath it that is easy to use, that's built out of authoritative sources, that I can quickly snap into position and get going. That's going to enable a whole new thought process, and that excites me. This process will not simply, this platform will not only enable new ways of thinking, it's going to change how our country works. There'll be more collaboration. People will collaborate across agencies, across departments, across missions. There'll be more integration. The place-based notions that people talk about will be easy and commonplace. It'll be more transparent. We'll link agencies with legislators, with the public, to see these common maps. And we're already seeing it, not so much in the federal government, but certainly in states and especially in local governments. It's just opening up. And for a variety of reasons, efficiency is going to be the bottom line here, forcing or evolving towards shared infrastructure. And the bottom line of all of this is going to be much easier to do GIS. It won't just be you doing it, although you'll be building the infrastructure and supporting it. It'll be a whole new class of users that you need to support, providing the very vision that I've been talking about, GIS for all of society. So is a national GIS platform possible? My feeling is strongly yes. I would even assert that it's inevitable. It's going to hit the target. It's going to allow us to integrate multiple organizations, the content, the services. It'll mean that GIS professionals build lots of this authoritative source, and gets shared out as services and applications to everyone else. And it'll be based on cloud. It'll be based on the concepts of sharing. It'll be based on easy to use technology. And you're going to see this again and again and again